I'm gonna show you guys how I got this French Provincial dresser, and I had two nightstands that are not the match, but they would go perfectly together. The first thing I did, I went ahead and took off the hardware. I will use sprayed paint to paint them gold just to give them a little more better look. So as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and take off all the handles off, and of course I did make sure that clean the piece all together. I'm just using the Awesome from the Dollar Tree that I got. I don't have a footage of me cleaning the piece, but yes, I did went ahead and clean that off. Also that it had some of the drawers, you can see the parts are coming apart, so I had to use just to screw them back together. So I can show you here that I went ahead and used spray paint and paint them all and let them stay there for a couple of hours. The first thing I did, I went ahead and sanded using 80 just for water damage and 120 for everywhere else. I went ahead and did about 2 coats of 123 Bullseye primer, and I used this beautiful color called Rainy Afternoon from Behr. I did about 1 coat of that. And I used my Wagner spray painter, which is amazing. It's good coverage, and it took me about an hour or so just to do all the pieces all together, and it just saves me a lot of time, especially as I'm working outside and it's hot. It helps me a lot, and the coverage is amazing. As you can see, the nightstands are not the same, but when you use the same paint and about same hardware, they just match perfectly together. I realized later on that one of the drawers was missing one of the sliders and the one that I'm working right now. So unfortunately my mom always saves all the pieces. So I was able to use one of the old ones that I had around the house just to add a new slider for one of the drawers on the bottom. And it was perfect match, and that's what I needed. A little tip that I can tell you, I'm using just a regular cardboard box just to be able to go around the edges of the drawers, as you can see, because in the past I used to make a mess on the sides of the drawers. So I learned my lesson, so that's the easiest way and cheapest way that helps me do that, and saves me a lot of time going back and sanding those areas. As you can see, it came out perfect, and one coat did it all. When I have a mirror of a dresser, I always take it out just to make it easier for me to go ahead and paint it. But I know there are moments that you're not able to do that, but in this case I was able to take off the mirror, and as you can see here, I'm putting it back. I'm just putting all the pieces as it was before and putting the backing of the mirror, and just I'm gonna use it to put it back on the dresser when I'm ready. Thank God I have my mom that's always helping me with this kind of stuff, especially that mirror was pretty heavy, and you do need two people to actually put on the dresser, so she's just helping me out a lot. So that's why you guys see her a lot on my videos. So I went ahead and just use all the screws that I used before and just screw them all back together. And yeah. By the way, I did want to mention that the mirror edge was actually made out of plastic. So what I went ahead and I did sand it down a little bit, roughly, just to have the paint here. But I realized the paint that I had did have primer in it, so I went ahead and just used that and primed it. Just painted it all together with a spray paint. This is the spray paint that I use, and it's gold. So I went ahead and did the edges of the legs. I used a little bit of tape just to tape the edges, and went ahead and spray painted all over. And I did that for the dresser and for the both nightstands. The drawer, one of the nightstands, it was different. So I went ahead and did new holes, and I had extra handle that looks just like the other ones from the dresser and the nightstand. I went ahead and did some holes. I just kind of measure it, honestly, just by looking at it. I just wanted to see if it looks good. I know I have one of those machines that you can do, but unfortunately I couldn't find it, so I just used my eyes, but it actually came out pretty good. So I use a smaller drill first just to drill the holes, and then I went ahead and used bigger size to make the holes bigger so the handle can go in. I did that just because when the drill is small, it's easier to make the holes, and then just go back and use the one. You can always use the big one. I just wanted to use the little one easier, because sometimes it happens that it doesn't come out quite right. As you can see, I'm just trying it out to see if it's fitting. I did have to go back and make the hole a little bit bigger just to fit. I did wanted to mention that I lost the footage with me sealing my piece, but yes, I sealed all my pieces. And as you can see, the yellow sponge that you see there, I got actually from the dollar store, and I used top coat from Dixie Belle to seal all my pieces. So I did about 3 coats, usually on the top of the nightstands and the dresser, using just a sponge and just kind of brushing it off on the pieces, and that's how it seals. I did went ahead and changed the liner inside the drawer. Some of the drawers needed a little bit of coverage, so I went ahead and use white and gold drawer liner. I will add that in my description. I got that from Amazon. And the paint that I got it from Home Depot, and it's Behr, called Rainy Afternoon. Yay! And finally I got it to go in, and they look perfect. Guys, look at those pieces. They look so beautiful. As you can see, the hardware looks great, and that's the drawer liner inside, and that's the one of the nightstands. Yes, they're not perfectly matched, but all together they look perfect.